Hello, and welcome to the wonderful world of word wisdom. This is a word study program that I use with my students in the classroom, and I'm adapting it so that we can use it here online. The first step is going to be that you have to read the story for the week, and that's the first page that is in our packet. So I'm not going to read that to you right now, but I would like you to make sure that you are reading it on your own. I'll be making videos to go through each page so that you guys have an idea of what the work should look like and what you can expect. Today, in addition to reading the story, you're going to look at the next two pages that would follow along in the packet. The page that follows the story is an example of the work that you're going to be completing. This is a context clues strategy, which means that it's a strategy for helping you understand words based on how they're used in a sentence or a paragraph within a story or any piece of reading. The example that you're looking at right now, it's kind of hard to notice, but it's the word revoke. And so it says, read the sentence with the unknown word and some of the sentences around it. So if you refer back to the reading, you would find this exact sentence. For years, many towns and cities in the United States required African American children to attend separate schools. In 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that this practice was illegal and decided to revoke the laws that allowed it. So if I return to the reading, you can see that the exact phrase that I just read is right here surrounding the word revoke. So then it asks you to look for context clues to the words, meaning what objects or ideas related to the word can you find. The example shows us that the words illegal and revoke are related. The word illegal means that separate schools were against the law. That's why the Supreme Court decided to revoke the laws that allowed this practice. Next step is to think about those context clues and other information you may already know about what's being discussed. So a piece of information is the Supreme Court can change or even throw out a law. If the court found a law to be illegal, it would probably use that power. Then you need to predict a meaning for the word. So in your own words, you're thinking about the word that you've been thinking about this whole time, and you are coming up with what you believe it means based on what you've already looked at. The final step is to check your Word Wisdom Dictionary, and that's a PDF file that's also attached to this assignment. So please make sure that you utilize it. As I mentioned, though, this page was just an example, and so the real work that you're going to be completing begins on the next page. The example that you're going to see is the word eloquent. And so it says, read the sentence that uses the word eloquent and some of the sentences around it. We return to our reading, we find the word eloquent, and we read the sentences around it. So actors, folk singers, and other advocates of civil rights spoke to this huge crowd. Radio and television carried their words to millions, but it was the eloquent words that Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. used to preach his message that will always be remembered. So when I return to the page that we're working on, I create a text box for my response by clicking the text box option on the left. I expand my text box so that it fits the space that I have to work in. After I have my text box established, I'm going to go ahead and respond to the question. Look for context clues to the words, meaning what objects or ideas related to the word can you find. So basically, as I was reading that story, I seemed to feel that the word eloquent was describing Dr. King's words. And the essay itself specifically says that they will always be remembered. Oops, wrong click. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type that there. And as you can see, my text kind of carried onto the line below that, and it makes it hard to read. So if you could kind of try to watch that and tidy it up, when you have the 4 arrows that appear, you can move your text box a little bit. When you have the 2 arrows, you can expand your text box, so we make it fit the line nicely so that it's easily read. Then we move on to the next line where it says, think about the context clues. What other helpful information do you know? Well, I know that Dr. King's speech has been called one of the most powerful and moving in history. And when we go back to the story, we can see that it kind of mentions that by saying that few speeches in American history have been as moving and persuasive as Dr. King's words were that day. So I'm going to go ahead and again type my response in. Oops. Apparently I can't type today. So now that I have established some information about the word, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to predict my own personal meaning for that word. I'm going to again create a text box. You guys noticing a pattern here? Then I'm going to type my prediction. I'm going to just kind of make it a little fancy and take the word that's being used and put it in italics like it's used in the examples, just because I can. When I'm done with this, I'm going to move on to the final step of the assignment, which is to check the Word Wisdom Dictionary for the meaning. So when I click my tab that has my dictionary open, I come up here. I'm going to look for the E's because we are looking for eloquent. Comes after D, E, O, eloquent, powerful or moving. So then I'm going to return to where it asks me to check the definition. I'm going to write what I found. And I've completed that part of the assignment. So now that we have completed the first one together, I will leave it to you to finish the second part. Please look for the next video tomorrow for the next page, and we'll continue on with this program. Have a great day. Please let me know if you have any questions.